Only Look Thin. I am Katherine Weigel. I am one of your hosts. I've lost 150 pounds.
Whoa.
And with me today is my crosstown rival,
Donald Weigel, rivaling you from across town.
I don't know why there are crosstown rivals. Like, who cares?
I don't know
Does
either,
anybody care?
But I enjoy the idea that we are crosstown rivals.
Yeah, well, we're cross-the-couch rivals anyway.
Cross-couch rivals? I thought we were partners in this together.
Okay, let's start over again. Hello!
Hello,
Here's my
and welcome
partner.
to-
Everything's great.
Yeah, we support each other and stuff.
That's boring.
And I've lost 100 pounds.
Congratulations. That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
So, hi.
Thank you, and I'm here to talk about it.
Yay.
It's a podcast.
it
We talk
is.
about stuff and people listen.
So we're going to break this episode into 3 parts. First, we're going to talk about justifying things.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk about trustifying things.
Ooh.
I just came up with that.
I
don't know.
like
Break
it.
yourself before you check yourself. So we got trust.
And then we're going to talk about not losifying things.
Losifying things.
Yeah, with our
we're
product of
making
the
up.
week.
Webster's Dictionary is adding words to the dictionary every time we host a podcast.
We should have gotten a rhyming dictionary before we started this bit.
Yeah, probably. There's probably an app for that. Maybe we should have that as a product of the week.
Ooh,
at some
product
point.
of the week to you.
Product-
The rhyming app.
Rhyming app. Nobody wants that app. Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that
No,
app?
but let's
I just
start.
said I wanted that app.
Well, how much are you going to pay for it? Is it a
I
free
don't
app?
know.
If you have a rhyming app, let us know. But
I love how reviews for products are this app wasn't free, like all the negative
oh my
apps.
gosh, everybody wants
Negative
everything
reviews
for
for
free.
apps. Yeah, it's
Nothing
like-
free is free. Everybody,
I had to pay $1.99 for this app. That's ridiculous.
you look like the grouchy old man you're going to be in
Yeah.
30 years.
I'm pretty much a grouchy old man now.
You know what? My Fitbit is telling me I need 73 steps this hour. But you know what? I care more about our audience, so I'm going to forego. I'm gonna trust the process.
Wow.
And I am not going to get
this
those
makes
73
me very
steps.
nervous right now.
Donald, if we have steps to get, he will walk away. He will get on the rebounder.
Yeah.
And he will step, and we will delay the process. But I can't tell if I don't want the steps or if I care about the audience.
Yeah.
I honestly am not sure right now. I have
I,
2 motivations.
I'm going to choose to believe you care about the audience enough not to get your 250 steps this hour.
We took a long walk this morning, so I'm feeling fine.
We did.
about
We
my-
walked for 6 miles. I also walked to the dentist this morning,
Just walked to the dentist.
so I'm sitting pretty.
You are sitting pretty. So speaking of just, we're going to talk about the tip of the week.
Tip of the week
Tip
to you.
of the week to you.
Tow.
Tow. So the tip of the week is watch out for justifying
Oh,
your
now
choices.
what does that mean? Justifying your
Justifying
choices.
your impulsive choices. So we've all been there. This episode is about lying and lying liars who lie.
Yeah.
I'm looking at myself in the mirror right now. But when you start justifying your choices, I'm just gonna have one donut.
Just
you know what?
one.
I'm just gonna sleep in an extra 10 minutes.
Just 10 minutes.
I'm just gonna. Now I'm nervous. You're just gonna repeat everything that I say.
Just repeat everything.
Stop it! Don't do that. So I'm just gonna have one bite. It never is one bite.
No.
I'm just gonna have one donut hole.
No.
That's not a number. One
No.
donut hole is not a unit
No.
of measure.
No, it's like if you've taken any maths, there's that's an imaginary number, just one donut hole.
Yeah, or just one taste, or I'm just gonna do it this one time.
Yeah.
That leaves
Just one bite, just one lick, just one taste.
So when you find yourself saying the word, "Oh, I'm just going to ... nothing good is going to happen. Like you don't say to yourself like, "Oh, I'm just going to run 5 miles."
Yeah.
Like that's not something that you try to rationalize or negotiate in your
Yeah,
head.
you are justifying your choices. Get it?
Yeah, I'm just going to have
Super
a spoonful.
clever.
I'm just
Super clever.
I'm just going to buy this for the kids. Like that those aren't so when you use the word just, don't. That's what I'm saying. Just
Yeah.
stop. Put the brakes on. And
Yeah, realize that you are opening the door to just eat 2 more and 6 more and 10 more
Yeah,
until
'cause that's what
you're
happens, 'cause
rolling
that's what
down
I
that
do.
slippery slope.
Yeah. So don't justify, and that is the tip of the week.
Tip of the week to
Tip
you.
of the week to you.
Tow.
Tow. So now we're going to go over to the topic of trust.
Trust and reliability and people in your life who might not be reliable.
So I actually had something come up just the other day with a colleague who I hadn't spoken to in a couple of years because she was a terrible person. She, like, imagine...
And her name is...
it wasn't actually Lucy from the Peanuts show, but, like, do you know how Lucy and Charlie Brown...
So your colleague wasn't actually Lucy.
Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah. You had to clarify.
Oh, my gosh. You're... just a pain.
I'm the worst. I'm clearly the worst.
He's just a man trying to get along.
All right, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Okay, so we all know from watching good old Charlie Brown that Lucy, every single year on the Halloween special, they're out in the field for some reason, they're raking leaves, and then Lucy has a football, and she says, "Hey, Charlie Brown, how's the football? You want to kick the football?" And
I have
he's
a signed document.
I have a sign. I'll do it. I'll get it. And Charlie Brown, every year, it's the same thing. Yep. I think he actually says that. It's a perennial favorite. But he goes, and you watch it, and you go like, oh, maybe this time she won't pull the football away. Maybe this is like the time.
They don't change the episode every year. They don't like reanimate it or anything. I
don't know why, I guess.
But why do I think that maybe this time Lucy won't pull the football out?
Because I'm a trusting person.
Yeah.
And we all know what happens. Charlie Brown takes a run. He's very excited. He goes for the kick. She pulls it away. That is not a surprise, but she does it every year, and every year we're surprised.
And apparently he's so into this kick that he flips over and lands flat on his back.
As you do.
Yeah.
So that's basically what one of my colleagues would do to me all the time, and I kept falling for it.
Yeah.
And then I kind of stopped falling for it, and my life has gotten better because of it. But the other day, she brought out a football, a metaphorical football.
Yeah.
And I texted Donald. I was very upset about it. I was like, she wants me to kick this football. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So we have people in our lives like this colleague who's Lucy. Let's call her Lucy.
We'll call her Lucy.
We have people in our lives, whether in childhood or family members or colleagues, who let us down. I actually, in high school, had a cousin who I moved in high school and moved to a new neighborhood, didn't know anybody. And she would say like, oh, you can totally hang out with me and my friends. Like, oh, I'll give you a call. And time and again, we would hang out sometimes, but more than not, she'd say she was going to call, and then she didn't call. This was the time before cell phones and beepers. People just called, and she would leave me high and dry.
I don't use my phone for that.
No, I don't talk to people. But one New Year's, my first New Year in my new town, new state, she said, "You know what? Oh, I'm going out with friends tonight, and I will give you a call, and we'll hang out." And so.
And what did you do?
I hung out next to the football phone and waited. Those were actually
was
things.
like a Sports Illustrated, football shaped phone.
I used to have a Garfield phone, and Garfield would open its eyes every time you picked up the receiver. But I never picked up the receiver because my cousin never called.
No.
But I mean, we've all had that feeling, that expectation, and when someone says they're going to do something, and we wait, and they let us down.
Yeah, and I've had coworkers, friends, who eventually, it's that old expression, fool me once, shame on me, or shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you again. Doubly.
Double shame.
Double shame on you. No.
Brene Brown says there's no shame.
But the point here is that eventually, the boy who cried wolf, etc., eventually you stop believing in the person. You stop trusting them. You stop relying on them. And maybe you just, you don't count on that person again, and you just stop asking them to do things.
And two, as an obliger, if you go to the Gretchen Rubin 4 tendencies model, I want to believe other people. I want to live up to other people's expectations. I want to believe that maybe if they let me down, there was a reason. Maybe she, accidentally... she caught a bus that was falling off the side of a cliff because she's a super person and she lives in an ice castle and sort of an Elsa Superman situation.
She was helping orphans that night and couldn't call you.
But we always make excuses for people who let us down, and it works for a while, but after a certain amount of time, when that trust is eroded and eroded time and time again, we just stop calling back.
Yeah.
We ghost people. We fall away from them.
Or maybe you even like try to call the person out. You say like, what is going on? Like, what is the deal? Like,
I've literally never done that.
Or, well, this is theoretically, some people who are more assertive might do this. Or maybe you like try and, if it's somebody really close with, maybe you try and sit down with them and discuss what's going on, like figure out what the problem is. Like, and I don't know if that works or not, because I don't know if I've ever done it.
Well, but I think too, my coping mechanism is usually food. When people let me down, it leads to self-doubt and emotional eating and wondering, like, why am I not cool enough to be included? Or, as a, sort of a passive-aggressive thing. Like, I don't want confrontation. I'm not sure that I really want to know. Like, did I want my cousin to say, you know what, I don't really like you, but I just want to put you off right now because you're around and I don't know what else to say.
Do you want the truth? Or you can't handle the truth?
I generally am sort of truth averse.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to hear the facts. And some people are just flakes. It's not meant to be
some people aren't doing it out of malice. It's just, maybe they have good intentions and they just don't follow through.
And I promise we're getting to a point. So
what is the point? What does this have to do with weight loss, darling?
Well, I will tell you. So we spend so much time thinking about people outside of ourselves who have done us wrong, who let us down, who can't be trusted, either trusted with following through on what they say they're going to do. They can't be trusted to keep a secret. They can't be trusted to follow through with something that they say that they're going to do for you. But what we don't consider is that we lie to ourselves.
What?
All the time.
The unreliable person in this scenario is me?
The cousin was me all along. It's like a beautiful mind. Like, there was no Paul Bettany. It was just him.
Holy cow.
I wish I had a British self
shocking
living
twist
in my brain who told me stuff.
I am reeling from this shocking twist. That the unreliable person in this scenario is ourselves.
It is ourselves.
Dun, dun, dun.
So for as much as I can grouse about an unreliable cousin, I think I spent many, many years making empty promises to myself that I had no intention of keeping.
I would say things like, I really need to lose weight. I really need to exercise more. I'm
just going to have one donut hole, which isn't a measurement
bringing it back around to
known.
the tip of the week.
Exactly. So we spend so much time knocking down our own self-trust. We say we're going to save money. We say we're going to start our diet. We say we're going to hit the gym. And we don't actually mean it. Like, we say it because in the moment, it makes our current self feel good. Like, hey, I'll call you for New Year's plans. But we don't actually have the intention of doing it. And it's like, it's a form of procrastination. When we say, oh, I'm going to start my diet tomorrow. Oh, I'm going to start working out more. That's not a plan. That's
maybe you're
promise.
a people pleaser. And in this case, the person you're trying to please is yourself. If you say out loud or you say to yourself, I am going to lose weight, I really need to get on a plan, it feels like we're doing something. It feels as if we are, we're acknowledging the fact that we need to make a change in our lives. But then we don't actually follow through and come up with a plan to make it happen.
Well, and two, I think it ties into, like, we say things before other people can. If we feel like we should lose weight, we'll be out to lunch with people and we'll be having cheesy double breadsticks dipped in marinara and go, the diet starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you say
I used to do that all the time. I used to say things like, oh, well, I know I probably shouldn't have this, but you only live once.
And all of those ways that we erode our self-trust with the way we talk and the lack of action that we take. It's not about a promise all of this is about a plan. And it goes with other people in your life and it goes with yourself too. Words are empty unless there is an action behind them. I mean, they say action speaks louder than words.
Yeah.
And it's why I have that tattoo on my wrist because no, I don't have a tattoo.
At first, I actually paused and was like, wait, does she have a tattoo on her wrist that I've never noticed?
What was that song? Like, more than words.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a song.
Yeah, I've got that also tattooed. But I just have the hum because I don't know the actual words. To make it real.
I was, for a second, was like, does she have a tattoo? I've never noticed before.
I do not have a tattoo.
But like, why would I even think that you might have a tattoo? I never noticed. But getting back to it, maybe part of it is that we're just overly optimistic, that we say things to ourselves like, I am, tomorrow is going to be the day. I'm going to do this. I'm going to, get on that 1,200 calorie a day. I'm going to go to the gym 6 days a week. I'm going to start running 2 miles a day. And we basically set ourselves up for failure by setting our goals too high, too soon, too fast. And maybe the key to this is to try and set more realistic goals. Get some wins under your belt and really try and build your own confidence with yourself. Like, I feel like for many years, I would tell myself, oh, I just can't do this. I just can't do that. And I had built up this idea of myself in my head that I wasn't reliable when it came to trying to lose weight or trying to maintain an exercise plan. And it turns out I was able to do it and I am able to do it.
Yeah, there's a great article on veryfitwell.com by Malia Frey. And she talks about self-trust and building self-efficacy. And she says that self-efficacy is your ability to believe in your goals. It's not confidence. Confidence is more of an emotion, but trusting that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. It's less about, can I lose 10 pounds? Can you lose 10 pounds? I don't know. It's sort of a random big idea. But can you put on your gym clothes? Can you put on your gym shoes? Can you get in your car? Can you drive to the gym? Can you step out of your car? Can you go into the gym? Like, all of those small steps are what get you to the gym.
Can you count your calories for a day? Can you, if that's too much, can you write down everything that you eat for a day? Can you start, weighing and measuring part of your food if weighing and measuring everything is too much? Set some sort of realistic, like a goal that you can do in 2 minutes or less. I'm stealing that from the James Clear book, Atomic Habits, but set yourself a goal to start that you can do easily, that but make it a habit and start doing it every day until you get some wins under your belt. Oh yeah, I can go on a 5-minute walk every day. I guess a 5-minute walk would be longer than 2 minutes, but I can go on a 2-minute walk every day.
Not as fast as he goes. He gets it done faster.
I can track the first thing I eat every day. Just start small but build a habit and realize that, I can be reliable to do this. So maybe I can add a little bit to it the next time and the next time add a little bit more to that.
Well, and going on a plan, going on some prescribed 30-day whatever, or following a food plan, or joining a certain program, it is daunting to have to adhere to rules and regulations set by someone else, and oftentimes it's not reliable or it's not sustainable. But like Donald said, I don't know if I can lose 10 pounds, but what I can do is walk for 5 minutes at lunch every day. I can add a vegetable to every meal. I can reduce my soda by only having it when I go to the movie theater and not having it in the house.
Yeah.
When you can set some real, tangible rules and set those in place for yourself of things that you're going to achieve, that's where the self-trust comes from. That's where the self-efficacy comes from. Following through with what you say you're going to do by having a specific roadmap in mind to get you there.
And adjusting your mindset to understand that it all matters. Like, I used to tell myself, what's that? What's a 5-minute walk going to do? What's, cutting out 100 calories going to do, or 50 calories going to do? It matters. It all matters, and it all adds up. And getting those wins under your belt, getting those wins in the win column for yourself, and realizing that you can do these things builds confidence and lets you understand that you can be reliable when it comes to these things.
Well, and I think, too, with any plan, it is about having a plan. It's not about having a promise to yourself. I promise I'm going to be good today.
Yeah, this is huge.
I promise I'm not going to have just one donut hole at work.
And not being vague about it, not just saying like, I'm going to lose weight or I need to do more exercise, but actually, saying I am going to do this at this time and then making it happen.
Well, and for Donald and I don't promise to wake up in the morning. I have a plan because I set alarms on my Fitbit.
Right.
I have one going off every 5 minutes until I finally wake up. My plan is to have my clothes set out on a chair next to the bed so that they're ready for when I wake up in the morning. We've got our rebounders in the living room ready to go to get in our steps. It's not like, oh, we should really work out tomorrow. What are we going to do? I don't know. Well, never mind. Let's just sit on the couch.
It's like,
there's too much.
And I have a plan, like I will be on that rebounder by an exact time. And, I make sure that I start by that time so that I'm not putting it off and then eventually realizing I'm out of time to do it at all.
So it's not about perfection. It's about setting small, realistic, and attainable goals. Can you drink 1 glass of water? Yes, I can. When can you drink it? I can drink it before I have my lunch. That is a specific plan. And once you start doing that time and time again, I have habit trackers. I know we talk about those a lot on the podcast.
Yeah.
Once a habit is in place, I don't need to really track it anymore. If it's just something that I do, I have a goal to hit 17,000 steps a day. I've hit it every day this month, so over 2 weeks. And I don't I'm not actually checking it off of a list because it's just part of my life now. I brush my teeth. I don't need a habit tracker to remind me to brush my teeth because it's just what I do. I don't need a habit tracker at this point to tell me to track 17,000 steps. I just do it. But we might need habit trackers to help remind us of things that aren't in place and aren't natural habits yet.
Yeah, we've Catherine, I think, is still in the middle of it, and I just finished reading a book by Dr. Yanni Friedhoff called The Diet Fix, and I don't love everything that's in it, but there are lots of things I do like, and one thing that he likes to point out is that when it comes to weight loss, we always strive for perfection. We're always looking for to be somehow perfect, to be perfect eaters, to eat 100% healthy, to be on the perfect exercise plan, and to attain this ideal perfect weight. And it's the only area of our lives in which we hold ourselves to these high standards. Generally our personal best is seen as a huge accomplishment. If I make a certain amount of money, if I get a raise and I'm now at my personal best, I see it as a huge accomplishment. If I get a certain promotion at work, it's a huge accomplishment. Because I'm not the president of Hollywood, I don't think of myself as a failure. But when we hold ourselves to a high standard and we're like, if I'm not at my perfect weight, if I'm not at my supermodel magazine weight, then I'm not perfect. And we hold ourselves to far too high a standard with these things. And consistency is far more important than perfection. Maintaining a consistent habits and keeping them in place and doing the same things every day is far more important, and in the end will yield far better results that are sustainable and can last the rest of your life.
Well, and on top of that, we forgive cousins who let us down time and time again, or we make up excuses for why someone is not living up to what they say that they're going to do. And we knock ourselves down so much for failing to lose the 10 pounds we say we're going to lose. Or, indulging in that extra cookie at night when we say we're not going to. For me, honestly, and this is, we're going to do a maintenance episode soon, but there are times when I only feel as good as the last choice that I made.
Yeah.
And we might also do an episode on must be nice-itis. like, oh no, Catherine's lost 150 pounds, but last night she ate 1,000 calories more than she planned on, and now she feels like a failure.
Yeah.
Like, which is actually something that happened yesterday. Like, in the measure of time, nobody would say I'm a failure, but I feel like I let myself down by overindulging. So the second point I'm making is positive self-talk matters. And if you don't think you can achieve something, I'm never going to lose 10 pounds. I'm never going to be able to get up early for the gym. I'm never going to be able to fit into those old jeans again. All of those negative stories that we tell ourselves, they fill up our psyche and they build our character. And the more positive self-talk we can put in place, the better. I can get my clothes ready in the morning.
Yeah.
I can set my alarms. I feel great when I use the rebounder in the morning. I feel great when I stick to my goals. Like, saying more about that. I think there was something in the Yanni Friedhoff book too, where he was like, and don't for 1 second go back and like say anything bad if you didn't hit your goal.
Don't feel bad about yourself.
Don't feel bad about yourself. And we punish ourselves time and time again. And we like, you know, what was, it wasn't Angels and Demons. What was it? The Da Vinci Code, where Paul Bettany, this is the double Paul Bettany episode. We talked about him twice. Beautiful Mind and
yeah.
In the Da Vinci Code, he was a monk and he was like flailing himself because he wasn't.
The only podcast this week to mention Paul Bettany twice.
But like, he was self-flagellating as penance, and we do that to ourselves, and that's no place for positivity to grow. Like, you've got to, you can either water the weeds or water the flowers.
Yeah,
and when you say negative things to yourself, you're watering the weeds.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, but we also want to be right. And when we tell ourselves that we're stupid or that we can't do something or that we're unreliable, like, we want to be right about that. Whether consciously we do or not, we will make that happen if we keep telling ourselves that.
Like, see, I told you I couldn't lose the 10 pounds. Like, well, what can you do? Can you put on your shoes? Yeah.
So when it comes to yourself, think about what reliable people would do in these situations. If you make a promise to yourself to do something, think about, what if you were making a promise to somebody you loved, and hopefully you do love yourself, and making that promise to yourself and then following through on it feels fantastic. Trying to become more reliable. If you're reliable when it comes to other people in your life, are you somebody who follows through? Do you feel like other people in your life can count on you? Try and think about yourself as a loved one, and that you don't want to let yourself down, and try and be reliable to yourself.
Well, and two, I think in the Brene Brown book, The Gifts of Imperfection, she talks about the...
not the GIFs of imperfection.
She talks about the shame and the guilt that we feel for letting ourselves down. And hiding in that shame leads to additional emotional eating. It leads to isolating yourself from those around you.
Sure does.
And it all ties into that self-efficacy. When we let ourselves down time and time again, we don't trust ourselves, and we're basically sleeping with the enemy. And our enemy is our own selves.
Was Paul Bettany in that movie?
I don't know.
No, he wasn't.
I don't think so.
I'll answer that question. No, he wasn't.
Well, Paul Bettany stars alongside, was that J-Lo in Sleeping with the Enemy? Or was it Julia Roberts?
I do not remember right now.
I don't remember either. Also, I did not see the movie, but but I can tell you that the enemy is you. And we put up with it. Like, I put up with lying to myself for 20 years, and having that bit of honesty, like, for me, saying things like, I can go into the donut shop and just buy donuts for my colleagues, was a lie.
Yeah.
That was a lie. That was not self-efficacy. Me now, as I walk past the donut shop, I go, if I go in there, I'm going to eat all the donuts. So I don't go in there. Like, I am self-aware enough to be honest with myself. And if my cousin had just said, you know what? I'm busy and I've got plans with other people on New Year's. I'm not going to hang out with you. See ya.
Yeah.
in 1999. Then that would have been fine. But she didn't do that. She lied to me. Liar, liar, liar. So.
And I had to learn some hard lessons about trail mix. And
I just learned a 220 calorie lesson about trail mix myself.
I need to have very contained portions with almost everything. Like if I have a big, giant, wide open container of something, I cannot be trusted. And, you know, our craft service guy on set had this huge tub of trail mix, and I would tell myself, oh, I can just have one scoop of it, and then I found myself going back and having another scoop and having another scoop. I did. I was justifying my choices. And so I had to realize that the only trail mix that was safe for me are those little individual, like Trader Joe's packets of them, not, you know, getting one scoop out of the big vat.
But I love Mother Earth, and I'm going to buy a 5-pound bucket of it for Mother Earth.
Yeah, for Mother Earth.
That's a single serving, my friends.
Yeah, exactly. And so another strategy is just remember, nothing is set in stone. You don't have to commit to one particular plan for the rest of your life. If you find yourself getting bored over time, or you find that things aren't working for you, change your strategy. Think of it like a science experiment. I am constantly tinkering with what I do. You know, I have lost the weight. I've kept it off for over a year, and I'm still tinkering with strategies to make this easier for myself, to make it better. I'm still trying to find new foods to enter into my diet and sending some out. Like, when I first started doing this, I could not get enough cottage cheese. I know some people out there are grossed out about it, but I probably ate cottage cheese every day for like a year, maybe a year and a half. And then finally, I was like, I cannot eat any more cottage cheese. And I have not had it for a very long time now. And I've had to find different things to substitute in. And
like Paul Bettany.
Like Paul Bettany. I have a nice tall cup of Paul Bettany now.
Look, I get a free drink at Starbucks if I mention Paul Bettany 5 times in this podcast.
Wow, I didn't know. That's a pretty good deal. So think of it like a science experiment. Like, you don't have to commit to one thing forever, but you know, figure out what works for you. Figure out how to become that reliable person in your own life.
Well, and start small. Start with small promises. What can you commit to? Like, I cannot commit to going out on New Year's with my cousin. What I can commit to is, setting a time to talk on the telephone. If I don't hear from you, you hear from me. I can commit to setting my shoes out. I can commit to buying pre-portioned foods. I can commit to meeting a friend at the park at 1 o'clock for a walk.
Yeah.
There are ways that you can take control of your life and take control of your thoughts. And the more trust you build in yourself, the more you believe in yourself. Like, I feel so much better knowing that I do what I say I'm going to do. I'm going to hit 17,000 steps. I'm going to track all my calories, good or bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to drink water. I'm only going to drink soda at the movie theater. Like, the more I trust myself, the more I know I can manage this. Like, and the whole weight thing, like, I've lost the weight, but I'm still, there's no finish line. I'm just going to have to keep on, doing what I say I'm going to do.
Keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.
And another thing that I think is very important is try and stay away from things that you hate. If you think...
Paul Bettany. He's a fine guy. No, he's good.
Paul Bettany's great.
I don't know. I get one more time and then I get...
Well, you get your free Starbucks. I can see them punching your card right now. But if you believe that the only way that you can lose weight is to eat a giant salad every day for lunch, but you hate giant salads, you're not going to keep eating those giant salads, and you're going to become unreliable when it comes to salads. If you think that the only way to lose weight is to go to a gym and run on a treadmill, but you actually hate going to the gym and you hate running on the treadmill, then eventually you're going to stop doing it. I'm not saying that it can be completely painless, and I'm not saying won't be some things that you have to do that you don't like, but try and keep them to a minimum and try not to commit to things that you absolutely can't stand doing, because you won't do them for the rest of your life.
Well, and I think more than that is that we often idealize what we can accomplish in a day, depending on the day and the time and how many after work, after school activities we have going on. I have a different level of energy. And
For sure.
in the morning, I could say, wow, I'm going to make a really great meal tonight. And then by the time it's 5 o'clock and homework is being worked on and the tutor's coming over and there's a piano practice and the house is a mess and I need to do laundry, my morning self didn't maybe take into consideration all of that. Have a backup plan for your best plan. My best plan is a great home-cooked meal. My backup plan is the frozen fettuccine Alfredo and chicken that I have in the freezer that I can pair with some steamed broccoli to make a full meal by pumping up the volume.
Pump up the volume.
But like having those backup plans, you know what? It rained, so I couldn't go on that run I wanted to this morning. So instead, I did a 5-minute fitness martial dance.
Yeah.
Like having backup plans for your best plans helps, because then it's not like, well, gee, I couldn't do it because then I couldn't get this done. Like, okay, well, I didn't do that, so I did that. Oh, I couldn't get to the grocery store, but luckily we had a frozen meal in the freezer that we could use.
Right.
I couldn't, get my half and half for my coffee, so I just stuck with my seltzer water today. Like,
I didn't have time to do the ideal meal prep that I wanted, but I do have, pre-prepared meals that I've purchased, or there are things I can go grab that are pre-made that I don't have to spend much time cooking so that I can still stick to my plan.
Yeah. Or I didn't have time to track the calories at the restaurant that we went to. But you know what? I just put in 1,500 calories in my tracker.
At least it's something.
And now it's something and I've moved on. But I trust myself to know that I'm going to be accountable for it. So think about ways in your life that you lie to yourself, that you justify actions, that you let yourself down. What small steps can you take to put actions into place instead of promises? I promise this is going to be the year. I promise this is going to be the day. I promise I'll just have one. All of promises are empty. Action and plans make things happen. There's a quote that I saw that I'm going to read to you now, which is, and I'm reading it now.
She's not at all stalling while she looks it up.
My phone locked. Know your circle. Make sure everybody in your boat is rowing and not drilling holes when you're not looking. You're the boat. You're the football. You're Lucy. You're Charlie Brown.
You're all of it.
You're the rower. Like, all of it is you. And having trust in yourself to do what you say you're going to do and not self-sabotage time and time again. It's so important, because it all, like, the more you believe in yourself, the more self-trust you have, the more you can trust others, the more open you are, the more generous of spirit. Generous of spirit is not something I was 4 years ago. I thought everybody else had it better than me. And it turns out I had to make everything better for myself. The circumstances are the same, but my outlook is different because I trust myself in a way that I didn't before.
You had to become the most reliable person in your own life.
I am now sleeping with the frenemy instead of the enemy.
Love it.
I do too. So that's what we have to say about self-efficacy, self-trust, and reliability and plans over promises.
I think it's now time for the product of the week.
Pow,
everybody. So this product may seem like it doesn't have anything to do with weight loss off the top, but we'll get there. Trust me.
So last week we went on a hike, as you do. And, when you're hiking, maybe you don't have a fanny pack. Maybe you do have a fanny pack, but you left it open. We saw a set of Audi
keys.
Audi car keys, like just a fob
laying
sitting
on the path.
It was probably half a mile down the hill, half a mile up the hill.
It was just about equidistant between the two ends of the trail.
Between two parking lots.
Yeah, and like we didn't know whether the person was parked at the top or the bottom.
Yeah, neither up nor down. So our product of the week is the Tile, Tile. It is a small fob that has a Bluetooth receiver on it that goes to an app on your phone, and you can keep track of your keys, your wallet, your dog.
Yeah, like we're out walking in sweatpants a lot of the time, exercise clothes, and they don't have the best pockets in the world. And I have been known to occasionally like have a key fall out of my pocket as I'm walking.
And that's an expensive proposition. I actually was out on a walk and decided to jog, and the keys jumped out of my pocket. Never found Don's car keys to the tune of like
it's like $500 to replace the keys because they were the transponder keys that cars have these days.
Isn't that funny and fun? The price of fitness. So we had to get a new key fob, and then right after that, we got the tiles. So I have one in my wallet. I have one on all my sets of keys.
Yeah,
Donald
and it's Bluetooth. It links to your phone, and it keeps track, and you can see where it last registered with your phone. So if you do lose it, you can get within a couple hundred yards of accuracy of where.
Yeah, and it has this little button too, where it will sing a little tune. It will tweet at you so that you can help find it.
Yeah,
so,
if you're within like 100 feet of it, you press the button and it will start chirping.
It's not perfect. I think they have replaceable batteries now, so they last longer.
Yeah.
So it's not perfect, but it definitely has given me a sense of a little bit more security for losing my keys, because I did I lost Donald's keys that one time, and then I jogged the first time I jogged in this last time journey, jogged for like 16 seconds, literally lost my wallet and my keys in 16 seconds on a trail, and I went to great lengths to get them back. So
so I keep one in my backpack, I've got one in my wallet, I've got one on my car key, my house keys, and it gives me a little peace of mind in case I ever lose any of those things.
Yeah, so pick up a tile, because I'm sure that person didn't drive away in their Audi. They're probably still up on the mountain looking. There were lots of other people around, but nobody knew whose keys they were, so we just left them where they were. But we could have gotten an Audi out of it, but we're honest people.
Oh, I didn't think of that. We could have walked up the hill and tried it and walked back down.
That wouldn't have been awkward at all.
No, not at all.
So anyway, so that's the product of the week.
Product of the week to you.
Pow!
Pow! Thank you so much for listening, everyone. One thing you can reliably count on is that we will put out this podcast every week. Please subscribe wherever you find your podcasts. You can also find us at weonlylookthin.com.
You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at weonlylookthin.
And you can email us, weonlylookthin@gmail.com, and we do reply. We will answer your questions. We'd also love to hear from you if you have any episode ideas, if there are products of the week you would like to recommend, things like that. We would love to hear from you. And it would also help us out if you told somebody else about the show and got them to listen, somebody that you thought would benefit from this.
It's such a hard thing, though, because if you're like, you could lose a couple pounds, why don't you listen to these inspiring people?
Yeah,
I know it's kind of awkward, but we're fun.
I imagine it would go something more like this. Like a person in your life says, man, I really, want to lose weight, but I'm just completely lost. And you say, you know what? I know a great podcast.
I know two good-looking people who are also lost. Or I can't stop eating at work in the office. And you'd be like, you know what? There's a podcast I just listened to that had an episode about eating in the workplace.
Yeah.
So share it up.
And if you really want to be a buddy, you could go to iTunes and rate and review us. That would also help. And when you are out in the world and you're trying to think about the reliable people in your life and the unreliable people, there is one thing you can always rely on, and that's for Catherine and I to be an inspiration. The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.